order. It is the mission of Montague Area Public Schools to educate and inspire all students to become motivated, articulate, productive, and successful citizens for today, tomorrow, and forever. Item 1 on the agenda is call to order. We did that. Number 2 is Pledge Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3 is roll call. Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Ms. Francis?
Here.
Ms. Dahl?
Here.
Mr. Weishausen?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Ms. Mullen?
Here.
Item 4 is approval of the agenda. Need a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Moved by Scott.
Support.
Ooh. I'm trying to give it to Amanda on that one.
Give it to Amanda.
Yep.
Okay.
Amanda wins in overtime. Discussion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Now, item 5 is the consent agenda. I need a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Give that one to Scott.
Support.
Support by Amanda. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passed. Item 6, public comment portion of the meeting. Public comments will be accepted at this time. Each statement shall be limited to 5 minutes in duration. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. The board welcomes public comment but does not respond to citizens' concerns at its meetings. At the citizens' request and the board's direction, the superintendent or designee will respond in a timely manner. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. Do we have anybody on the list? No? Is there anybody that would like to public comment at this time? All right. Item 7 on the agenda are reports.
All right. Leading off reports is our Principal Meaningful Minute. Volunteers to go first. Mrs. Thoman from high school.
All right, so with February, we're partway into the new semester. Thanks to Mr. Patton, he does so much work behind the scenes with scheduling, more than anyone ever realizes. So thanks to him for all that he has done. Our FFA group went to regionals and did very well. We have many state qualifiers. We are also a finalist for the state chapter of the year. So that's very exciting. Our Barley Pro team finished first, demo first, green hand conduct first, prepared public speakers, Jenna Waller, she's here today. She got first, Lily Rice second, extemporaneous, Abby Tallquist received a second, and green hand speaking, Carrie Baker a second. And it's pretty exciting. Last week they were practicing in the office and they do a phenomenal job, so very cool. We also had wrestling districts on Saturday. We have 5 regional qualifiers, Brock Hunter, Jimmy Thoman, Chris Abig, Fletch Thoman, and Isaac French. They will be competing Saturday. All of the girls qualify for regionals. There's no district for girls, so they will be competing on Sunday. And CatchMark is actually doing a 4-part series on the girls wrestling team because it's quite a movement, especially in Michigan right now. So make sure you're checking out those clips. Districts are next week. For the other sports, go down to the bowling alley if you haven't seen our bowling team, because I got to drive them down last week and they're quite a really cool group of kids. So check that out. Cheer had a home meet last week. It's their only home one of the season, so they will move on to end of season competition. We sent over 40 students to solo and ensemble for band. Many received Division 1 and 2 ratings. And we will also be hosting a festival here on the 27th of February. Our bands play throughout the afternoon, but we will be hosting bands from other schools. The high school band, I believe, is the last one of the evening around 5:10. Quiz Bowl is active. They went to a competition last week. Robotics as well. The tryouts for the play are this week, so lots of busy things going on. The talent show, you may not have heard about this yet, but it is a cooperative between the middle school and high school. It is February 22nd in the evening, and there are prizes. Quite a few acts have already signed up. We're already getting ready for state testing. And tomorrow we are going to host 4 students and a teacher from North Muskegon. This is something that the principals from the league have put together. We rotate. North Muskegon was actually supposed to come to us a month ago, but it was on a snow day, so they did not come. But they are going to send 4 students and a teacher here, and then in the coming weeks we will send 4 students and a teacher to them. Next year we will exchange with a different district in our league, so very exciting.
Thank you, Kristen. Jim?
All right, at the middle school, we have dance this week, so that's very exciting for the middle schoolers. Dances are a big deal. So I want to thank Alicia Freeman and Leslie Van Zandt. They've really taken the lead on this and are playing that dance for us. We have a small group of teachers. We're putting together some after-school tutoring that will be available. We're going to start inviting some students to that to do that in a more formalized way. So that's a portion of our 23G grant that we got through that will pay for a number of those things. So that will be starting right after midwinter break. Our ski club had their last trip on Friday. It was a warm night, but it was a great night for skiing at Cabernet. We had 85 people in our group go up to ski, and everyone had a great time. No one was injured. They all made it back safe and sound. I want to thank Kara Creasel for that. She's taken the lead on that. That is a lot of extra work on her part to plan that the way they do ski club. It's not just one big check. It's a whole bunch of moving parts that come together. She does a great job. Takes a lot of extra time, but it is a great to see all the kids out there having a lot of fun. The wrestling team's in full swing. Our girls basketball has their first game tonight, so we're kind of just getting that winter 2 season off the ground. We had a number of our teachers who do our intervention classes during the day. We call them an at-risk class for we call them a lit skills and a math skills class. So they met this week. We've done a lot of work on the data collection and really tightening up the curriculum and the pieces that they use to help those kids catch up that need some extra help. So we've been working on that, trying to get those a little tighter as we move through the year. And our 7th and 8th grade classes just completed CPR. It's one of our new MBE requirements from a few years back. Everybody needs to be trained before they're a senior in high school. So our 7th and 8th graders did that. Officer Tenhold and Deegan came back and ran those classes. We had over 30 kids actually take the step further to go take the test to actually get their card. So we had 30 kids who are certified in CPR now at NBC.
Thank you. Haley.
Well, I have a partner in crime, as you can see. This is Jen Stoneman, and she and I have been working really closely together this year. And as you will hear in a little bit, if you have not heard before, she's going to be taking over at the MAC on the day-to-day operations, but we're working very closely together. She's never been a principal before, and I have, and I've never been in Montague, and she has, so we are a jiving team. So thank you so much for listening to both of us. So first of all, I just want to do a shout out to our PTO. I don't know if you're aware, but they raise a lot of money every year to make sure that every student in the building goes to a field trip, kindergarten all the way through 5th grade, and that takes a lot of funds. So everything from their Santa Secret shop to their sportswear sales and just lots of little things, the popcorns on Friday. So they not only, reach out to help students in terms of having fun, but also in providing those educational opportunities. So big shout out to them. We kicked off Book Blast last month, and if you've not heard of Book Blast, it's through a company that used to be called Books Are Fun, but they've taken over Book Blast. And so the goal is to get quality books in the hands of students. And so students take home a flyer, and then they can ask, grandpas and grandmas and aunts and uncles that live out of state and, across the globe, anywhere, to donate to their Book Blast account. And once they have enough money in their account, then they get these books. And if their family and friends donate more money than is needed to buy the books, then that money is put into the accounts of other students who maybe couldn't afford books. So in the end, every student is guaranteed at least one book. So here coming up during March's Reading Month, every student will get a package, and they could have anywhere from 1 to 10 books in that package, and they'll get to take all of those books home, and they'll be part of their personal library. Girls on the Run is kicked off this month as well. This week they're going to have 15 girls on the team, and so they're looking forward to getting started. And then also I mentioned last month and probably the month before that we are doing a book study group with all of our teachers on the science of reading. And we're well into that now. We have about 4 hours left, and after these 4 hours of the book study are completed, then we will brainstorm as a group what are our absolutes and what are our must-haves in terms of reading and writing instruction. And then from there we'll form a literacy team that will help us make some of those further decisions down the road. And Jen is going to tell you about some other things that have been going on with the math and at RRO.
Yeah, so she's on literacy and I'm all math. So we were fortunate enough to, and flattered that we received a phone call from the curriculum director in Grand Haven. And they wanted to bring some teachers to come and observe our Bridges math at the elementary school in person. And so we had 2 wonderful teachers who were willing to let them into their classrooms and talk to them. Mrs. Williams, 2nd grade, and Mrs. Burnham from 4th grade. And it was a really good experience. Maybe we bragged a lot, but it was really nice. And it was really flattering that they were willing to come and chose us to visit. And kindergarten, so we have kindergarten roundup just around the corner, April 25th. So if you have any little people that are just about ready for preschool or kindergarten, please let them know so we can get them signed up. And 100th day of school, that's always a fun day. So that started, the kids are making cereal necklaces and all kinds of things like that right now, so it's a pretty exciting time, along with Valentine's Day, which is coming.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Sandy and Jen. Moving on in reports, we will move to the continuity of learning plan review. As you remember, every 6 months we do update and a review on this continuity learning plan as described in Public Act of 149, Section 98A. On August 20th of 2020, Governor Whitmer signed House Bill 5913 into law as Public Act 149, Section 98A. States in order to receive state aid, districts must provide instruction under an extended COVID-19 learning plan. So within this plan, if changes were to occur or fundings, how we spend our dollars, we are not utilizing any ESSER 3 dollars this year. We had spent them previously in our plan. One of the stipulations for ESSER 3 funds is that the ECOL or the continuity of learning plan has to be reviewed and updated every 6 months. So even though we have spent all the money and we had a plan and we're working through still as that plan, but there is no dollars attached to it, we have to share this with the board and then give it an opportunity for public comment on that. The continuity of learning plan has not changed. We have spent our ESSER 3 funds in the areas of purchasing. What we spent our ESSER 3 dollars on was the purchasing of additional cleaning and sanitation supplies back during that 2020-21 and into the 22 school year. We increased custodial staffing and hours, hiring individuals to conduct COVID tests during that time period. Funding for an elementary interventionist was utilized at the elementary for possible loss of learning and instruction. We funded a robust summer school last summer, keeping staffing levels consistently low over the past 3-year period of time for possible learning loss that might take place there as well. We purchased our Lexi and Greenbox subscriptions at the elementary level through those funds as well. Employed a literacy coach to support teachers in ELA instruction best practices. We also utilize these ESTA-free funds for ingenuity subscriptions for credit recoveries. MCBA tuition for students who are hesitant to return to the classroom, along with supporting dual enrollment and early college opportunities. So those ESTA-free were used. So at this point in time, if anyone from the public would like to talk around our ECOL plan, this would be the time to speak. All right. Later in the new business, we do approve that plan, so we can have additional questions at that point in time as well. Moving on to superintendent comments. At your table there, I want to kind of just throw out a plan. I know I talked to you about strategic planning, so working with a planning council here within the district, and we're really looking at our district school improvement teams, and part of that was to make sure that our strategic plan and our school improvement process is relevant to what we do for the kids, for our community, for the staff, and for the school board. So taking what we had as our previous strategic plan and the blueprint and kind of using some of the ideas and themes of that, but then giving it a new look, a refresh, I would call it. You can see here we do have 2 documents that I'd like you to take a look at. Not asking for anything to be done with that, except for just take a look at it. If you see any concerns or have any questions on that, please ask me, and I will be providing more information, Friday updates, along with future board meetings as well, to look to adopt this as a strategic plan moving forward. As you can see, it has our mission, our core values here within the district, talking about student experience, community engagement, facilities and finance, systems and services, and professional integrity. The second, so that would be kind of your the visual, if you will, for the strategic plan, so it's nice and easy to read, but then the detail would come then in the second sheet that you have there this week. So as far as the website is concerned, you'd actually hopefully be able to click on each one of those, and for instance in student experience, and it would give you the whole child experience, where it talks around academic success, instruction, assessment, career preparation, student engagement, culture, belonging, mental health, behavior, and physical health. So take a look at that. If you have any questions, please let me know. AER, Annual Education Report. I'm sure that you saw that went out as well. It was in a Friday update as well. It is located on our website. We did send letters to all our parents in that process as well. As you can see, on February 9th is when letters were sent out there, but for this past school year, there are no labels, status labels through MDE, which is a good thing, at all 4 of the buildings. Our key initiatives to accelerate achievement continue to be high-quality instruction, multi-tiered systems of support, and balanced assessment in that work. Each of the buildings then provided a letter to their parents as well and gave some fact-finding around their year in review on that as well. If you have any future questions about the AER, let me know. EOP updated. So emergency operations plan was updated. I shared with Board President Brent Rath, which needed a signature on that. It now goes to Renee Gavin, the emergency manager of Muskegon County. We are doing collective work on this. The only change as far as the emergency operation plan is the use of the Armory as our reunification spot location. So in that process, and we do not share this with all board members as we don't want this necessarily being a big public document, but in the tables of contents, there are concepts of operation to communications, contacts, schedules, lockdown drills, hazard-specific procedures, cardiac emergency, continuity of operations, reunification locations, incident command systems. Our administration team is going through some learning right now on that and getting certified within the incident command component. We then will have former Chief John Hale come in and do some tabletop exercises with us and throughout the district as well. So just know that has been revamped. I'll let you know once the emergency manager is signed off, and we would say that it will be complete. But we have met our responsibility on that. as we heard previously, and I sent an email about Jen Snowman, we're excited to have her in a more formal principal role at the MAC. A lot of her time was spent there and will be spent there working with some of our youngest learners at that kindergarten level, but just the day-to-day operations is too much for one individual in that process, so she will be there and at our role, very similar to what she was, but now taking on that principal role, which then provides good communication to the families as well. So with that, we also had a building and site committee meeting prior to the meeting tonight. In that meeting, and please feel free to share out if you would like, any of those that were in attendance. We did have a review of our sinking fund, where monies had been spent. Obviously, this past year's expenditures were on the windows. We are working on an RFP, working with the engineers as far as our HVAC is concerned at the early school, so that hopefully we will have air conditioning going in the buildings for next year in that process. So Stacy is working with Tom on that RFP process currently. We then talked around the co-curricular bond update as far as expenditures and where we are at within that process. Had a document for them to look at as well. And we started having some conversation about an initial thought around the ag barn, and that it will be being sent over to the architects, and they've done some ag barns such as the one in Lowell. So they do have some understanding. They're going to give us some ideas into that as well. So we're moving into that. We talked around forest management plan and trees. As far as district is concerned, we have no large progress within that. At this point in time, we did talk around a partnership with the city of Montague around 100 new trees throughout the district and working on a location. Our NHS students are looking that to be a part of a project for them, so we will be coordinating that as well moving forward. And that is it for superintendent comments.
Thank you, Jeff. Item 8 on the agenda is new business. 8A is consideration of approving the continuity of learning plan with no changes. Motion needed to approve the continuity of learning plan as presented.
So move.
Joel. Second by Joel. Scott, support. Discussion.
So, as I just explained in the public comment portion there, the reports component, this was from August 20th of 2020 that Public Act 149, Section 98A was established. This is the same plan that we have had throughout that 3-year period of time. We update to make sure that we are still providing the proper instruction and meeting the needs of the students for possible learning loss within that COVID-19 plan. Utilizing those ESSER $3, which had been spent previously, but we still need to update per the state of Michigan code.
Prior to COVID-19, was there a continuity of learning plan?
No.
Do you expect this to go away at any point in the future?
Due at the end of this year.
This year?
Correct. Stacy, would you agree to that? Yes.
Okay.
Did you know, is there testing that's required as part of this plan? Okay, so.
Our own, I should. Our own, in our plan, we put our own assessments as a measure for us as far as how progress is being made.
Okay.
So in the plan, it talks around assessment, but it would be the assessment that we were doing anyway. But yeah, we're making sure that it's on a smaller scale for the opportunity for learning loss that took place.
Okay.
Any additional questions? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, consideration of approval to hire a teacher at the RRO. The motion is to approve the hiring of Madison Grebel as a teacher at the RRO.
So
Moved by Scott.
Support.
Support by Cindy. Discussion.
So interesting enough, last board meeting we hired Sandy Ebright, unfortunately, or in this case with the hiring of Madison Grebel, we were extremely excited. She was already previously retired. She ended up, an opportunity came for her for a position outside of education. She took that, which then promoted her to have a resignation. We are extremely lucky to get Madison Grebel. She comes highly touted. She did her student teaching in Fruitport. She's already off to a great start. She is all in on education, and we're excited to have her. She's done an absolute outstanding job as well.
Any additional questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item C is consideration of approval to hire maintenance coordinator. Suggested motion to approve the hiring of Zach Burmeister as maintenance coordinator.
So moved.
Moved by Scott,
Support.
support by Amanda. Discussion.
You saw his resume in there. He's a Shelby grad, has experience as a maintenance technician at Peterson Farms, Barber Steel and Rothbury, as well as Grain Company and Hart, Country Dairy connection there as well. We're excited. We have a lot of work that needs to be done in the district. He is mechanical of nature, and hopefully this will turn into a lot of work getting done throughout the district. This is a replacement of a position that we had previously. Mike Schiller was there. He resigned. We would continue to look for the right candidate. On our first posting, we did not find that, so we reposted, had a number of different candidates, and we're excited to have Zach with us.
Any additional discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item D, consideration of approving wrestling overnight trips. Suggested motion to approve 2 wrestling overnight trips for the MHSA regionals and state finals as presented, the details of which will be finalized after districts.
So moved.
Moved by Scott,
Support.
support by Amanda. Discussion.
So as you can see, girls wrestling, MHSA finals, boys wrestling, MHSA finals. We feel that we will have wrestlers at both. And let's hope so, right? And we want to make sure that we get it on the agenda, as it will be before the next board meeting.
Additional questions? Discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item E, consideration of approving second reading and adoption of PO 0122. The suggested motion to approve the second reading and adoption of P 00122. Am I saying that right?
Policy.
Policy.
It's
PO.
policy.
All right. So that's a suggested motion.
So moved.
Support. Moved by Amanda, support by Scott. Discussion.
So, due to legislation MCL 423.215 as it amended, the attached revision to policy 0122 is necessary due to the elimination of many topics from the prohibited subjects of bargaining. The topics that are no longer prohibited subjects have been deleted from this bylaw. These changes should be adopted to make board policy consistent with the statutory changes that go into effect on February 13, 2024, which is tomorrow.
Okay. Additional questions or discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item 9, student reinstatement hearings. We wanna go to
That
those.
is a closed session, so you will need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Support.
And we need a roll call on this. Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Rath?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Francis?
Yes.
Ms. Dahl?
Yes.
Mr. Weishausen?
Yes.
Ms. Neubauer?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
All right, I do not see the family yet, maybe they're out there, but students at this point in time, students at this point in time, feel free to come forward. You need your 2 signatures for the class. We'll take a couple minutes